Hey everyone, Onepeg the bot here. I have one more day of vocal rest and I'll be hopefully able to talk again tomorrow. As a reminder, Path of Exile 2 is going into early access tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will have both Twitch drops and a streamer program that for 2 gifted subs will get you a pet to roam around the dungeons with. Poe 2 looks like it's going to be very fun. Not sponsored, by the way. I'm not exactly sure how well my voice will do since I've been on rest and haven't spoken at all for 5 days, but I'm hopeful things will be much better. Anyway, Dark and Darker released another patch today, and I thought it'd be a good idea if we went over it. In addition to a slew of bug fixes that included things like fixing animations of living statues and harpies in certain situations, they decided to reduce the rage damage penalty for Barbarian from 25% to 15%. This is a change that I don't understand. In the past, I have talked about the golden triangle before. This is a core concept in gaming where if you are going to make a character or a monster, you're never supposed to allow them to have high damage, high speed, and high toughness at the same time. Most everything in the game fits this rule. The mobile bag of KFC extra crispy chicken holding a spellbook that is the wizard is a perfect example of this concept. Fast and high damage but evaporates like my bank balance after I invested in Hawk to a girl's meme coin the moment they get hit with anything more damaging than a stern talking to. But when built correctly, barbarians do not have this issue. There are builds that include the use of Achilles strike and or blood exchange while utilizing some added magical healing and potion chugger combined with the defense building capabilities of Iron Will and select pieces like the Northern Tunic that give the Barbarian 40-50% PDR and MDR while allowing them to drink potions to stave off just about any amount of damage dealt to them and have an incredibly high HP pool. The Golden Triangle says with this maximal amount of survivability that the character would then or should then be relatively slow moving, but that is not the case as you can build this with over 315 move speed. So when you buff a talent like Rage to have Barbs take even less damage, it starts making me involuntarily scratch my head and wonder why. Especially when you have builds like the Demon's Glee Fighter as prevalent and equally as annoying and shitty as a Costco fruitcake at an office party, but I'm not the developers and maybe they know something I don't. Moving on, Rogues started trying to edge their way into the resourcefulness and buff duration stacking meme that was Dark offering Warlock in order to have nearly 100% uptime on invisibility now that there were 2 charges to the skill. So Iron Mace said none of those shenanigans and increased the base cooldown on Hyde from 28 to 32 seconds. They also decreased the healing penalty of Poison Weapon from 15% back down to the original 10%. Apparently, Cleric heals were being reduced by too much, and people actually started winning arena matches that didn't have a backline Cleric free healing the entire time, and we just couldn't have that. Iron Mace also apparently thought that Druids with their near infinite ability to reset every fight thanks to their incredible mobility wasn't strong enough and opted to give 2 to 3 extra points of damage to both the Panther left and right click abilities and also to the silence on the Panther's right click after a dash to 1 full second instead of 1/10 of a second. Remember kids, it's not whether or not the Panther can kill a cloth wearer inside of 3 hits, it's that you also have to humiliate them by not allowing them to cast a spell during that time too. Honestly, I don't understand why silence is even in the game. Cloth users versus the 3 classes in the game that actually have a silence mechanic lose to all of those classes if they're within range to make the silence effective, with the one exception of a rogue using a thrown weapon or hand crossbow, so I do not see where silence as a utility ends up fitting in here anywhere. Last but not least, there were some quality of life changes made to the arena that included stat details, but the biggest one being that if you create a pre-made team, that the team cannot have duplicate classes in it. However, if you queue with autofill, you can still get duplicate classes. Why not also include the random matchmaking, you ask? I think that would have taken too much extra development time, and this basic solution gives them a chance to see if the change actually does anything measurable. Spell reflection for fighters and their shields was improved to also include hit scan spells like Warlock Curses and Zap, so keep an eye on that one. And last but certainly not least, the Halloween event is over, which means we should see the Christmas vendors soon, and the game is finally available to be purchased through Steam's DLC purchase system rather than having to buy the full game via Redstone Shard. So for those of you terrified by those 3 evil letters, it's just a way for them to provide the full game unlock through the DLC system as opposed to trying to shoehorn the larger game upgrade into some other category for purchase. That's pretty much everything I have for this one, fellas. Looking very forward to being able to physically speak with you all tomorrow instead of having this vocal cuck chair doing it for me. Until next time, thank you for lending me your eyeballs, and I'll see you in the next one.